I got Ohio Congressman and Chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan. Congressman, look, you have been one of the leading forces on actually trying to execute this agenda that's going forward, one of which has been investigations and making sure the rule of law was followed. Yeah. Fill us in on what else is going on there.
Well, first of all, I think it's 100 days of winning, and you went from a no border to a secure border. You went from you couldn't get anyone to join the military to record recruitment, and then to your point, you went to folks who now run these agencies in the Trump administration who actually work for the American people instead of turning these agencies as weapons against the American people. And no place has that contrast, I think, been sharper than at the Department of Justice. We actually had dinner with Attorney General Pam Bondi last night, and I told her, I said, it's night and day under your leadership and Todd Blanche and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino at the FBI. We ask for them information. We send them subpoenas. We actually get a response. Go figure. So total change. And I think that is one of the key changes, key successes in this first 100 days.
Yeah, and a lot of the libs are losing, some of your colleagues, they're losing their minds over the fact that some judges were arrested for, breaking the law. But, there's been a big push from some of your counterparts in Congress to say, hey, we should, somehow hold Trump accountable for doing this because it's unprecedented. It's not that unprecedented. And why should people get away with breaking the law?
Well, what was unprecedented is what they did to President Trump. And I remember all the left saying, oh, equal treatment under the law. No one is above the law. Well, that includes a judge in Milwaukee who said, let the bad guys slip out the back door while the good guys are coming in to arrest him. You got to be kidding. Or the judge who says, turn the plane around, bring back the guy that a court found was here illegally and was part of an international terrorist gang.
Yes.
The judge said, turn the plane around. Americans are saying, what? Where is the common sense? Where is equal treatment? I mean, so the left always says the things they say, but the American people have common sense. American people understand the rule of law and the Constitution, and they appreciate what the Trump administration is doing.
Yeah, and we've been talking about this obviously today, but the issue of polls, the left is going out and they're saying, look, Donald Trump is going down in the polls. He's not. If you look at actual polls where they're equal sampled of normal people, he's actually doing really well. Why can't some people get their heads around this?
Yeah, I think it's the left. The left will say all kinds of things. I always say, the left will tell a lie that his numbers are going down, and that is a fair poll. The left will tell a lie. Mainstream media will report the lie. Big tech will amplify the lie. And when you tell the truth, they call you a racist or some other crazy name. And that's how the left operates. Yeah. But yeah, so they think a winning message is we want people who are here illegally, who are part of an international terrorist organization, we want them brought back to the country. I think most Americans say, that's crazy. I don't think that makes sense. But never forget what Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders said when she said the divide in America today is normal versus crazy. And every position the left takes is crazy. Defund the police, don't have a border, turn the plane around, bring the bad guy back, let bad guys slip out the courtroom while the good guys are coming in to arrest him. I let men compete against women in sports. You could just keep going. It's all crazy positions. We're for common sense.
Yeah, and speaking of common sense, we all saw that Joe Biden was not mentally there on his way out the door, or even for the last 3 or 4 years of the administration. One of the things that Trump wants is arrests in the Biden AutoPen investigation. He said, also, why did the AutoPen give Schiff a pardon? Biden knew nothing about it. Who operated the AutoPen? What's the biggest question asked in D.C.? They almost destroyed our country. They should be in jail. I agree. Is there any motion to get to the bottom of who was actually controlling that pen?
Well, one of the things we want to get access to, remember, we actually went to court on this last Congress, is we do want to get access to the Hur tapes. The special counsel Hur investigating Joe Biden and his issue with classified records, and he had them stored all over his house and in the Penn Center and everything else. Well, part of that was that interview. They didn't want the actual audio tapes made public because I think it just showed just how tough things were for the president, when he was president. So we'd like to get those released. We'll see. We're working on that. Hopefully that information will get to the American people pretty darn soon.
Yeah. Well, Congressman Jim Jordan, we appreciate you fighting on the right side, sir.
You bet. Thanks for your good work.